Hello and welcome to Orion Today. I'm Joe Johnson and I am joined by Tracy Woodrum.
Hello.
Our first broadcast of 2025. Is it
Yes.
too late to say Happy New Year?
No, it's not. Happy New Year. It's still January, right?
Yeah.
The longest month of the year.
It feels like 6 months, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The holidays went by so quickly, and so here we are, the cold, snowy months in Michigan until spring arrives. Just got to get through it somehow.
Yeah.
Football usually helps us get through these times, but that's been kind of depressing.
Yeah.
We had the Lions get unexpectedly knocked out a week or so ago, and
So frustrating. I was fortunate enough to be invited to go to that game, and I
Yeah.
thought, I'm going to go. It's going to be so exciting. And while it was fun, it was just, the air, in that place just kind of got sucked out.
I can imagine all the people shuffling out at the end of the game, just probably in silence.
It really did. You know what I was really surprised, though, is some of the fans, like the things that they would yell at the players. I'm like, we had an amazing season.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be
That's
happy.
not
I mean,
fair.
it was a rough game. It was rough. We had so many injuries this season, and it just, you reach a point where you can only go at that pace for so long, right?
Right,
So,
and I'm a lifelong Lions fan, and this was clearly the best season ever by a Lions team. It was a lot of fun. I attended a couple of games during the season, and there was a lot of scoring and trick plays and all sorts of stuff.
Very exciting,
so you can't knock the Lions team. They had a really great season. I think
they did.
One of the problems that I've seen in past years when the playoffs roll around is a lot of times when the team gets a bye week, it kind of softens them up a little bit.
Yeah.
They were on fire. They had momentum. They destroyed Minnesota. They get this bye week, and I think they came back a little soft. And
I would
sometimes
agree,
I think a bye week's not a good thing.
Yeah, it seems like it is, but a little too much time off and you slow down. Kind of on a separate note, though, like a couple days after that game, you know how on Facebook you get these add this friend, somebody you might know. Well, Jahmyr Gibbs popped up as a friend you might know, and we had a friend in common. So I was like,
oh wow,
I'm going to add the friend request. And wouldn't you know, he added me as a friend. Now he must have looked at my page and go, oh, she's not anybody famous or anything. So then the friend, the friend has been disconnected, but for a short time I was Facebook friends with Jahmyr Gibbs, so that was exciting.
Cool. He really showed up to play. He those last couple of playoff games, or the end of the season, the playoff game, he really played really well. So
he did.
There's always next year.
There's always next year.
Yeah,
yes. I wish we had a little bit more we could say about our fantasy teams too, but
we're
both
that
sitting
was
here as
well, you made the championship game, but you ended up losing in the fantasy championship game.
Yes, for our ONTV league.
Yeah.
That was actually a fun league. That was fun this season. It was quite the opposite of last year. Last year I was on top like the first 6 weeks or something, and then fell to my demise. This week I didn't start off as strong and ended up in first place.
So that was exciting, and we presented Ian Witherspoon with the championship trophy last week. We did our final fantasy podcast, so that part is done, and
one game. It's how one game can change everything, because I still had the overall points and wins, but that one game took me out.
It's a new season when the playoffs start. So this past weekend, it was things are starting to get busy around here. Things after the holidays, things get a little quiet, but now things are starting to pick up. This past let's see, when was this? Oh, Friday. Friday at the new Blanche Sims Elementary School, the Lake Orion Police Department had their first Kids and Cops event. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Blanche Sims Elementary School is the only elementary school that exists within the boundaries of the village of Lake Orion. So the police department has a nice relationship with the school. They patrol the school, they walk the hallways, and they, on Friday night, they invite students to come in and play games, floor hockey, foosball, ice or air hockey, and then they serve them pizza. They get pizza brought in, and the kids have an absolute blast, and they're just running up and down the hallways and playing games. And you're going to see video here in a moment where the new police chief, the Lake Orion police chief, Mark Amundsen, he's playing goalie for floor hockey, you know, and so the police officers really look forward to it. The kids really look forward to it, and it's a really great relationship that the police have with the kids. Funding, oh, there he is. There's the chief in the goal right now. Funding for this program is partly raised during the summer when they have the big car cruise in downtown Lake Orion. So money raised from that helps make this event possible. So that's a lot of fun, and the new school is absolutely beautiful.
It is.
I kind of miss the old one, but they tore that down quickly and built the new one in its place. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, I've been fortunate to be able to spend some time subbing for some of the teachers in that building.
So it's really cool. Also, we want to make sure we want to promote the students over at Scripps Middle School. For the second year now, they're going to have a big musical production, and they're going to be performing Annie this year. And the cast and crew is so large this year that they had to use the high school's auditorium, the Performing Arts Center, to perform Annie. Last year they just did it at Scripps. But I swung by there a couple of weeks ago and got to watch rehearsals, and the numbers were just fantastic, and the kids are so talented. And what's interesting, they said for the first time, they cast 2 girls as Annie, and I guess they're going to alternate in that role. But they look like twin sisters. I mean, they look almost exactly the same. Aww. But you know, those songs from Annie are so catchy, and you know, I was just talking to someone recently that the musicals, the older musicals, those songs seem to be so catchy that when you walk out of an auditorium or you walk out of a theater, you're singing those songs. And Annie is just like that, where the songs are, you know, it's a hard knock life, or you know, tomorrow.
Right, the sun will come.
They're so great, and to see these kids performing these songs with their heart and soul, you know, it's really great. So the curtain goes up this Thursday at the high school's Performing Arts Center at 6 o'clock. Tickets will go on sale at the school about an hour before the curtain goes up. So you can just walk up, buy a ticket, sit down, and watch the production. So there's a performance on Thursday, and there's a performance on Friday. And so we really want people to go out there and cheer them on.
And how exciting for a middle schooler to be able to go to the high school to perform their musical. So
and a lot of those kids, I talk to a lot of the kids, and they love it so much. They're like, this is what I want to do. They're going to pursue it in the high school. They're going to pursue it beyond high school. So get out there and support Annie at the Scripps Middle School students, but they're performing at the high school. Also, something that took place this past weekend, this was a lot of fun. Saturday night was Blessings in the Backpacks Trivia Night. Now, they had gotten away from it during COVID. They brought it back last year, and then it just took place again this past Saturday. And there's 250 people. They form like 30 teams, and they compete in this trivia night. And for the first time, the chamber invited me to take part, which was a lot of fun. And so I was part of their team. And so you get a page that has like 8 or 10 questions on it, and as a team you fill out each question, you put it in an envelope, you turn it in, they have people tally up the score. And so you're competing all night against all these other teams. And so there's prizes for the top overall team, there's a prize for the top school team, and then this year they gave kind of a consolation prize to the worst team. So that was this past Saturday. It was a lot of fun. I was there shooting video, and we put together this package to show you what happened. On the evening of Saturday, January 25th, approximately 250 people formed 30 teams to compete in Trivia Night, benefiting Blessings in a Backpack, Lake Orion. emceed by Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett and Fox 2 Detroit News anchor Dina Senafani, participants enjoyed food and drink, a 50-50 raffle, and took part in 8 rounds of trivia in a wide variety of categories. The mission of Blessings in a Backpack is to make sure students don't go hungry over the weekend.
It's such a huge benefit for Blessings and the children of Lake Orion. So it takes, as you can imagine, after the pandemic, with the cost of food going up, it used to cost about $100 to feed a child through the school year, and now it's $175 to feed a single child through the school year. So this event will help fund us to be able to feed all the children in Lake Orion that are part of this program, which is about 250 plus kids that are part of this program. So it's wonderful that the community comes together for it. It means a lot to them and to the educators that see these kids every day, and they know the kids that are not getting enough food and they're struggling, and so this helps to feed them on the weekends.
At the end of the night, gift cards were awarded to the overall winning team, which happened to be Dina Senafani's team. The top team representing Lake Orion Schools, which was Oakview Middle School for the second year in a row. And for the first time ever, the last place team took home a consolation prize. The next packing event is scheduled for Wednesday, February 5th at 9 a.m., followed by March 5th at 9 a.m. at the Cirque Building. More volunteers are always appreciated.
We pack it up, we send it to the schools, and then the schools will get it in the hands of the children that are signed up to receive Blessings in a Backpack. And then they take it home on the bus, or if their parents pick them up, they take it home with them for the weekends to help feed them on the weekends.
I can't even imagine as a student coming back to school on a Monday, not getting the proper nourishment over the weekend and having to shift into learning mode. Talk about the importance of that.
It's so hard, and nutrition is definitely linked to how kids function at school, right? How they learn, how they, improve test scores, all of that. So it is mission critical to get them the food that they need on the weekend so that they can come to school on Monday and be ready to learn, be the best that they can be.
For more information or to make a donation, visit blessingsinAbackpack.lakeorion.org. From Eagle Creek Academy in Oakland Township, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ON TV News.
So, yeah, the trivia night was a lot of fun, and Blessings in a Backpack. It's such a great program.
It is.
We're joined by Sue Hackstock from Oxford Orion Fish. Are you familiar with the Blessings in a Backpack program?
I am, yes.
Yeah, so they kind of serve the same purpose you do, to make sure that the students at the Lake Orion schools don't go home hungry over the weekend, and it's such a great program.
It is. It's wonderful.
So, of course, we here at ONTV are really starting to gear up for our week-long food drive that benefits Oxford Orion Fish. That kicks off on Monday. We run an entire week, and we're really excited about it. It's been a great partnership that we've had with Fish over the last, decade or more.
A long time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and so we're so happy to be able to help out your organization. First of all, for those who might not be familiar with Oxford Orion Fish, talk about your organization and what they do in the community.
We are a local food pantry. All food is donated to us from all the, on TV, the school food drives, postal food drives. People can call us and just come in and shop and get pretty much whatever they need, from canned goods to frozen goods, milk, eggs, anything for a family. And it's all by poundage. Like one person can get 60 pounds of food. Mm-hmm. And up to 7 members in a family, 200 pounds of food. That's a lot of food.
Yeah, right.
I mean, most of them don't walk away with that much food. I mean, it's pretty hard, especially 200 pounds.
Right.
That's a lot of food. And they come in monthly. All they have to do is call the office, our Orion Fish office, and we'll set up an appointment, and they come in. They come in every 30 days, and we're strictly a food pantry. We don't do anything but food.
Yeah.
That was how we started, and that's what we're doing.
So the location is on Lapeer Road, just north of Lake Orion in Oxford, and
What I love about it, and I've been there many times to shoot video, is how it's set up like a little corner grocery store.
That's how the gentleman that set up this building for us, how he wanted it. He wanted a little grocery store where people could come in and feel right at home. They're not, they don't feel like it's a handout.
Right, exactly.
They're very welcome, and we try to make them feel very, very welcome. So, yeah.
Now, the reason we do the food drive this time of the year is throughout the holidays, everyone's feeling very generous.
Right.
There's lots of donations that come in over the holidays, but we've been told that in the months following the holidays, leading up into the post office big Stamp Out Hunger food drive in May, there's a bit of a lull, and so that's why we picked this time of the year to do that. Talk about your needs this time of year.
Pretty much, and it's true, this is a slow time. I mean, we don't get as many donations like we do at Christmas and for the postal food drive. Our needs are pretty much anything and everything. I mean, we need all canned goods, milk, I mean, just everything, toothpaste, things you don't think about, toothpaste, toothbrushes, just about anything that you and your household need, we need, and our clients need or would like.
Yeah.
So like now, Strong 42, which is an Oxford organization, they just made over 100 birthday bags for us that we just are starting to distribute, which is a cake mix, a cake pan, frosting, and they come in and get, if they have a special birthday coming, come in and get a bag, just people are just so generous. It's just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, both of the communities, Oxford and Orion.
Oh yeah,
they always come through.
They always come through for us.
There's fundraisers and stuff throughout the year, and you would think that people in Lake Orion and Oxford would be like, oh, not another fundraiser, but they always come through.
Yeah,
Every
always.
fundraiser is a huge success.
It's
It's
so
really
true.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like last year, we gave over 200,000 pounds of food.
Wow.
And it's on all, it was all donated, and Myers is a big sponsor for us, so we're very grateful to Myers, and and then of course all the food drives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, prior to COVID, our focus with our food drive was getting people to come into our studio and drop off food. Since COVID, we've kind of switched the focus more on financial donations.
Right.
And what financial donations allow is, in addition to the cans and boxes that people donate, you have to purchase certain items.
Right.
So talk about how monetary donations are important to you.
Well, the monetary will buy the meat, mostly meat, eggs, and look at eggs, $3 a dozen. Who would have ever thought? Eggs, milk, that kind of stuff. People don't really donate that as much as the canned goods and cream, mac and cheese, that kind of stuff. So all that kind of stuff is purchased. We have a gentleman that does all the shopping for us, and through Myers again, that's where we go, and that's what we get.
Yeah.
So the
it's
perishables are financed through financial donations.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Now, it was interesting when COVID hit, it was kind of interesting. You said that the need kind of went down during COVID, but since COVID, we've all been victims of inflation and stuff like that.
right.
Talk about how inflation has impacted the food pantry.
Oh wow. So in fact, just the fact that how much we have to buy, and we can't really do it because we don't have the money to do it. So people during COVID all got help through the government, so they didn't really use us like now they're back with us because they don't get what they were getting before, which makes it hard on us. But we do the best we can, and people do send in monetary donations. But not as much as they bring, different groups bring in the different foods.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just do what we can do. Sometimes they'll have excess, and sometimes we don't. We just give them what we have,
Yeah.
Like, a hamburger and chicken and that kind of stuff. Sometimes we have abundance of it, and they can take more, and sometimes it's limited,
Yeah,
depending on, again, the financial aspect of it.
yeah. So on top of inflation, rents are going up. I can relate to that. I'm a renter. And so that has to affect your clients. That cost of groceries is up, rent is going up. your services are more important now than ever.
They are. And we do the best we can.
Yeah.
We just do the best we can. We can guide them to different places that can help them, with rent and utility bills, that kind of stuff. We personally do not have any money to give out, but we have organizations that will definitely help them.
Yeah, I think Love Inc. is one of those, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they will send you to the people that can help you
Exactly.
make ends meet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, everybody works together in the community. It's a wonderful community.
Yeah. Now let's talk about volunteerism. So you're volunteer-based, volunteer-run,
Right.
and you have shelf stocking days. We'll give you an opportunity here to recruit volunteerism, and how can you put them to work?
They can just call the office and say they want to volunteer. We are an all-volunteer organization. Nobody is paid that does anything for fish, which is kind of remarkable considering. And they call and we can set up, they can come in and it's usually the groups of like church groups, youth groups, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, those kind of, they all like to come in and help stock our shelves. And our shelves are stocked on Tuesdays and Thursdays with people, not usually kids, but with adults. And then if they have a group, we will make arrangements for them to come in after school to work with, volunteers that can help the kids.
Yeah.
Give them a tour, and then they can, a lot of them will have a food drive themselves. The Girl Scouts will have a food drive. So then they'll bring in the food that they collected and they'll stock the shelves. And they learn. They learn what it's all about. I mean, it's not like their pantry where they can just go in and grab what they want,
Right.
Some people aren't as fortunate, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great opportunity, I think, for young people to learn that there's need out there that
I agree.
a lot of us might not be aware of. And this is something I bring up every year this time of the year when we're planning for our food drive is, Oakland County is one of the wealthiest counties in the nation, not just Michigan. Yet there are people who are hungry. There are people who are struggling. There are, it's in the case of the Blessings in a Backpack, there are kids, they get lunch at school, but when they go home for the weekend, they're not getting the food, and they come back to school on Monday hungry.
Right.
And it's so shocking to think that this is happening in Oakland County. What is your reaction when you see, those needs increase at your pantry?
We're just amazed. You wonder, you just have to give the parents credit for all they do, and it's just, we do what we can, and they're very grateful. They're just so grateful for everything that we do and what we can do for them. And a lot of them will come back and volunteer. They can't usually volunteer if they're a client of ours, but once they get themselves out of the hole, they'll say, "You guys did so much for me. I want to come and help and do whatever I can," which is wonderful.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it is
That's great.
amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. It's a good organization, and we really appreciate the community for helping us out as much as they can, and for on TV, for all you guys do for us. We couldn't do it without people like you.
And we've been doing this so long now that it's just kind of routine now.
Yeah.
Like everything falls into place and everything is already happening.
Yeah.
And so once we go live on Monday, we'll hit the ground running. I mean, we've already you probably saw the food.
Yes,
in
I
our
did.
lobby
I
when you
thought,
came
wow,
in.
amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, a lot of that came from Gowling Buick GMC here in Lake Orion. They rolled up one day and said, "Hey, we got some food for you."
Yes.
We have some other
Jumpstart.
places with collection boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody that wants to put a collection box in their lobby, we're for it.
yeah,
The post
definitely.
office, Lake Orion Post Office has one, and we get a lot of people drop off. They go get their mail and drop off a box of Cheerios, whatever. So it's all very grateful, very, very grateful.
Yeah. So the Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive that the post office does, that's not until May. And for that particular food drive, they send a bag to all postal customers, and you fill that bag up, you leave it up by your mailbox, and they collect it. Until then,
we do what we can. And
Yeah.
so if you have food that you want to donate, you can either bring it here to our studio, or next week we're going to have our van parked out in front of our building. The door is going to be left open, and you could just roll up and put bags or boxes of food in our van. And if you want to make donations, you can go to our Orion ONTV.org website, and we have GoFundMe sort of a thing set up where you can make donations online. And then, of course, there's the fish website. Why don't you give out that information?
It's OxfordOrionFish.org.
Yeah.
And just, or contact us by phone. I have to look the number up because I don't know it by heart. 248-628-3933.
Yeah.
We're open Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for shopping. They have to call. You can't just walk in. You have to have an appointment. But again, call the phone number, call our number, and they'll gladly set up an appointment for you. And we also have a box out in the back of the building. People can drop things off if they go by and they have, a bag they want to drop off. More than willing to, they can drop it off right there.
I remember someone saying something to me one time, and it's really stuck with me, that when it comes time for you to donate food to a drive like this, I'm sure you appreciate anything that you get, but don't just grab that can of lima beans that's been sitting on the shelf for 8 months that nobody likes. If you're going to donate food, donate stuff you like, that you enjoy, because those families would enjoy it as well. So so whenever I buy food to donate, I always look for stuff that I enjoy. So.
True. Yeah. And we get a lot of expired food.
That's
People go in
thing.
they go in their pantry and they clean out their pantry and they think, well, I'll take this to fish. We appreciate it, except we cannot put it on our shelves. It has to be bagged separately, and then we tell the clients are welcome to take it, but it does not go on the shelves. It goes, and they're told it's expired. Open it. If you don't like the way it looks or smells, throw it out. Don't eat it. But at least, canned vegetables probably last, for a long time. But still,
Well, I think about growing up, we didn't have expiration dates on those things. So who knows? How do we know when they expired?
Somebody told us a Twinkie lasts 25 years. I just cannot imagine that.
I was just talking to a family member over the weekend that sometimes I'll go into my cupboards for spices, and I'll look at it and it'll be 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Spices are in my cupboard forever.
Yes, true.
Need to do a little more cooking, Joe.
I know. I need a reason. So check those expiration dates, and feel free to drop them off here, drop them off at the food pantry. But get involved next week. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go live for a couple hours every day. There's going to be a lot of specific programming that we're going to be airing all next week geared toward the food drive. And of course, we want to thank our generous sponsors. We've had a lot of sponsors, the business community and local organizations step up and make donations that we'll be passing along to
We
fish.
appreciate it.
And we can't wait till that final day of our food drive when we make the big announcement and what our final tally is. And we always seem to exceed our predictions, and that's because of such a generous Lake Orion community. So
Very true. And we thank you so much.
our pleasure. We look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
So what we're going to show you now is last year's news story that I put together to give you an idea of what's going to be taking place throughout the week. So here's a look at last year's food drive, and we'll be kicking off this year's food drive on Monday.
Following the holidays, the shelves at the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry tend to get a little light, at least until the post office food drive arrives in May. That's why ONTV has chosen February to host its annual food drive here at the studio. What started out as a one-day event has evolved into a week-long effort that focuses on monetary donations.
Welcome to the 14th annual ONTV Food Drive live in the ONTV studio here at the Orion Center.
ONTV's 14th annual food drive got underway on Monday, February 5th, as Ian Locke and Matt Pfeiffer went live on the air at noon. Viewers were encouraged to visit the ONTV website to make a cash donation or to come to the Orion Center to help fill the production truck with food donations.
The 14th annual, already 14 years of the ONTV Food Drive for Fish. It came about, of course, 14 years ago when the staff sat around and said, hey, what can we do in the winter months to get our volunteers here at ONTV involved and showcase, in a way, the technology we have at the studio. And we partnered up with Oxford Orion Fish right away. And they said, oh, by the way, we have a huge need this time of year. And we decided, hey, let's do something telethon style, live TV, and we did it for one day. And it worked out really well, and it has ballooned into a community event that people are, residents and elected officials around the area come to expect this time of year. So it's now a true community event.
ONTV went live for 5 days in a row from noon until 2 p.m. with interviews and entertainment and special guests who dropped in to make a donation.
We have Bill and Pam with Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply. And I'm going to open this check, if you don't mind right now. So this is from Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply. And you guys have been incredibly generous in everything that pops up in the community. And so I appreciate it. And it's, this would be the biggest donation this year. And I think it was the biggest donation last year because you guys did this for us last year. I don't know if we need to show it there. $5,000. $5,000. Thank you so much for your generosity. Please, I haven't met your sister. Please pass along to her the thank you, your kids, your family. You guys are great Lake Orion residents. I get to see each other around town a bit, and you're involved in some other service in the community with the Eagles. You guys are the epitome of what it means to be a good citizen and good people, and I am so thankful for you.
Well, we like to support our community, that's for sure. And normally we sponsor one shelf. This year we decided to continue with 2 shelves, so the donation is needed. Our community, we love supporting them. And it's just what we do.
So this covers 2 shelves for 12 months for a total of $2,400 that goes to the total.
Overwhelming gift. It's an absolutely overwhelming gift. Yeah, it literally renders me speechless, which my husband can attest does not happen very often.
As the food drive wound down on Friday, last-minute cash and food donations made their way to the ONTV studio. When Ian Locke wrapped up the final live broadcast of the week, it was revealed that the 14th annual ONTV Food Drive raked in over $16,000 to feed hungry families in the Oxford Orion area. Immediately after the food drive signed off, a representative from Broadway Dance arrived to help fill the ONTV production truck with a massive donation of food. The ONTV staff drove the van to the food pantry in Oxford to deliver its payload and help keep those shelves stocked for the next few months.
As always here in Oxford and Orion, we know when organizations like ours or other nonprofits say, hey, we need to have a call to action to help those in need, the community always shows up. It always shows up. It has for 14 years for us here at the ONTV Food Drive. And we know they will show up again. We'll be back for the 15th year next year, and we know the community comes out. It's just overwhelming how the response has spread now up to Oxford. So now we're trying to incorporate Oxford help with donations in the future.
Just because the ONTV Food Drive has come to an end, that doesn't mean our work is done. ONTV is a food drop-off point all year long, and the food pantry continues to need your help. To make a donation or to volunteer your time, visit oxfordorionfish.org.
All right, so that's what we can expect next week. We go live for a couple hours Monday afternoon, and we'll go live every day of the week. Each day of the week has kind of a theme. We've had volunteers coming in over the past month or so recording cooking segments, so there's going to be a day of just cooking
there you go. Now you can figure out how to use all your spices.
Exactly. Have a reason to use those. I think we have a sports day, and what I'm looking forward to is next Friday, Jimmy Johnson, who's part of our Orion Historical Society, him and I are going to sit down and do a history segment on the history of Lake Orion, and we've done that in the past, and we have a lot of fun talking talking about the history of Lake Orion. So yeah, make sure you donate or visit us, bring some food in next week, and we'll have some fun during our food drive. Joining us now is Joyce Donaldson from the Orion Area Chamber of Commerce, and you have a lot of exciting stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. The first thing I have on my list here is Bagels and Brew on Tuesday, February 4th at 8 a.m. at Amazing Pedals. What do you do at Bagels and Brew?
Yeah, so last year we implemented a program. It's a monthly networking, first Tuesday of the month, and we travel around to all of our different member businesses. So it's pretty informal. Our members will sign up, they'll get registered to win some raffle prizes, and they'll get on what we call the hot sheet. Which is a list of everybody that has pre-registered. So they don't have to necessarily go around and collect business cards. They're already on, all their contact information is already in the system, and we just hand it out. So basically they come, they gather, they have coffee, they have bagels and fruit and whatnot. And then we get in what we call a social circle, and everybody goes around the room and talks about their business for about 15 to 30 seconds. And there's a lot of business that comes out from those Bagels and Brew. The things I'm hearing are just phenomenal. I'm like, that's great. So we typically have between 30 and 45 members that come out. And it's really great. The host provides the bagels and the coffee, and it's just a great networking opportunity. I'm actually always so surprised at how awake everybody is in the morning and so willing to, talk about their business and be chatty, because I'm not as much of a morning person.
Yeah,
so,
me too. I could relate.
And this time at Amazing Pedals, of course, in lieu of Valentine's Day coming up, we're hopeful we'll get a lot of men in there so that they can maybe order some of their gifts for Valentine's Day. And it's such a beautiful venue.
It is, and they just had a ribbon cutting ceremony earlier, or in 2024. It seems like one of the biggest perks that members of the chamber get are those networking opportunities.
Absolutely.
And I remember attending a conference a few years ago, and whether you are part of a nonprofit organization or you own a business, they say always have your elevator speech prepared. Are you familiar with that term?
Yes, absolutely.
Where if you get on an elevator and someone asks, "Oh, what do?" You need to clearly and concisely explain what it is you do during that elevator ride. And so when you say that members have a chance to stand up and talk about their company, have that elevator speech ready to go.
Exactly, and that's what they do. So they have, it's about 15 to 30 seconds. Yeah. And then they can also talk about any upcoming events. So if it is a nonprofit organization, they can highlight that. And then people just mix and mingle, and they maybe set up coffee dates or lunch dates to discuss more about how they can do business together.
Yeah. Now, that was the first thing I had on this list, but I do know that this week you have a big event happening on, Thursday?
On Thursday from 9 to 11 at Christ Redeemer Church on Walden. We have our annual meeting and membership appreciation breakfast. So at that point, our operations manager, Jillian Nolan, will talk about a year in review. So we have all kinds of fun slides, and we'll talk about all the great things that we did in 2024. And then Chris Barnett, our supervisor, will talk about what's coming up for Orion Township, give a little bit of an economic forecast, and then I'll come on and talk about what the Chamber will be doing in 2025, which is, we're really excited about 25 since it is our 75th anniversary celebration.
That's impressive, yeah. And it's just coincidence, but in addition to being the 75th anniversary, the Chamber is going through a major, major change. Talk about what you'll be celebrating in February, is it?
In February.
The
Great.
Grand
So
opening.
we moved our offices October 15th. And so we've had this date on the schedule since then, thinking we might be all ready. We may not quite have all of our wallpaper and et cetera up. But yes, we moved downtown to the Spresser Ogden Law offices. We're in the Carriage House, AKA what used to be the garage, but it's beautiful. Copper tin ceilings, hardwood flooring, modern lighting. It's historical meets urban chic. And so we'll be celebrating with an open house and ribbon cutting on the 13th, and also, we'll be open from 12 to 6:30, I believe, and we'll have our ribbon cutting at 4:30. So we invite everybody to come out and celebrate and see our new office. We're super excited to be in such a highly visible area in downtown.
Yeah. Now, remember, the Chamber did used to have an office in the Village of Lake Orion. The Chamber ended up moving here to the Orion Center. We're going through some changes here at the Orion Center, where the school district is going to be occupying the space formerly occupied by Orion Township Parks and Rec, which forced the Chamber to skedaddle. And so now you're back in the heart of the village. Talk about the perks of being in the village.
Yeah, I guess being here at the Orion Center, I didn't know how much we were missing out by being downtown. Shopkeepers, business owners just stop in all the time and say hello, or tell us what they're doing, and it just feels like we're so much more connected. Now, with the Chamber, we have 330 members. Not all of them are in the village. They're in Orion Township, some of them are in the village, but they're also in, Clarkston, Waterford, Oxford, Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills. So a combination of all those areas. That's why we are the Orion Area Chamber. Yeah. But being in downtown really feels like the Chamber is more grounded, because a large portion of our businesses obviously is in Orion Township and in that downtown area. Yeah. And then it makes it super easy to just, walk around and visit with them, maybe delivering their membership decal or invitations to upcoming events for our small business walks. It's just really, really nice. And I have to say, a perk is really like if somebody walks in and says, let's go for a Coke, or we forgot our lunch, everything is really accessible.
Yeah. And that's one thing that's great about the village is there's so many places to eat now.
Absolutely.
And places to visit. It wasn't always like that. There were a lot of vacancies, decades ago in downtown Lake Orion. I wonder what the vacancy rate is today. It's got to be very, very small.
I don't know what the vacancy rate is.
Yeah.
I know that they do have some availability. I do know that we knew like almost 1 year in advance that we would be moving out of the Orion Center. Yeah. So I, put on my looking glasses and had some realtors kind of looking to see if there would be a spot for us in downtown or on M24. We really had no clue where we were going to be able to land. Yeah. And it just so happened that Spresser Ogden had moved in this beautiful renovated building that they had renovated, and we had done a ribbon cutting, and I knew that they had that space, and I ran into Bill Ogden in the Orion Township parking lot and said, "Hey, Bill, what are you doing with that space?" And he didn't say no. He didn't say no about 3 or 4 times, and then finally we met, and it's a perfect space for us. Just super high visibility, great parking for us. But as you mentioned, the Chamber used to be downtown Lake Orion. We literally are just across the street from our old office in the Spresser Ogden building on the corner of Old Lapeer and Shedbold Street.
Yeah. And it's such a beautiful, I'm sure it used to be a residence, and it has this beautiful wraparound porch. And I gotta say, if I were to have offices in that home, I would probably spend most of the day rocking on the porch, maybe sipping a lemonade or something, waving to the neighbors.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. We're just way too busy for that. That does sound really lovely. Maybe this summer.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a beautiful place. So I also see here peer-to-peer networks. It's a new program. You want to elaborate on peer-to-peer?
Absolutely. So last year we started a peer-to-peer group, which was with our trades, builders, and suppliers. And we met a couple different times, and we, talked about, or they talked about, what they had in common, how they could refer each other, what common problems they were facing, maybe upcoming trade shows, etc. So it worked out really great. And then in addition to that, we printed a trades, builders, and suppliers referral guide so that we can put them in our new resident welcome bags, give them to our realtors, apartments, complexes, things like that. So if you need a good plumber, painter, architect, deck builder, all that's listed in there. And you know that those people, those members that are listed in there are reliable and upstanding citizens. So that's really great. So then that was so successful And our next meeting is actually February 20th at Orion Township Hall, and Tammy Gerling will be coming in to talk about the building department and permits and things like that. So with the success of that, and being that we're downtown now, we have a lot of business owners that are members, and so we're going to create a downtown business peer-to-peer group. And our plans are to meet a couple times a year, mainly so that they can get each other's contact information and that they can, you know, like just be more aware. Like if somebody walks in the store and says, hey, they walk into a clothing boutique or say Lucky's and say, you know, where can I get a keychain or where can I get a gift for a child, that they will actually know then who they can refer them. Like, hey, it's three doors down or, a couple blocks away. That's one aspect. The second aspect would be for safety purposes. So what if they saw smoke coming out of the chimney across the street, or, they see as, a person that maybe is hassling customers or businesses, they could pick up the phone and actually call the person, that business. Yeah. So it's kind of twofold. It's more like a meet and greet for those business owners. So we have a committee, a brain trust committee that we've put together, and we'll be hosting our first meeting the first half of this year. I don't really have a date for it. But in that brain trust also will be made up, obviously, of local business owners in the downtown. And they will, kind of talk about what their objectives, things that they're facing that, maybe they can utilize each other's expertise, time, talents, and treasures to overcome some of the obstacles that perhaps they're facing.
That's great. Yeah.
We're super excited. So the peer-to-peer, we created the builders, trades builders and suppliers last year. This could be an ongoing, like next year if I identify a segment that is very large within the chamber that we feel might benefit from that one-on-one, I want to say networking, but I want to say more like peer-to-peer collaboration.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And talking about, your success last year, I know I personally shot video at like 18 ribbon cuttings.
19.
19. And I wasn't at all of them, but we had somebody there. We've hit the ground running in January. I mean, January's not even over yet, and we've done, 3 or 4 already?
We have, and I think between now and the beginning of mid-March, I think we have like 9 on the schedule.
All right, got to keep me busy. So, but it's great to see that the chamber is thriving and that new members are joining all the time.
Absolutely.
And there's milestones to celebrate. I just found out that Northern Wholesale Flooring is celebrating 40 years this year. Lucky's in downtown Lake Orion celebrated 50 last year. It's really great to see longevity when it comes to some of these local businesses. So the business community is thriving, and I think the chamber plays a big role in that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And so for our 75th anniversary celebration, we also will be having some sort of big reception. We actually have a date. I think it's in mid-June. We can't do it on the actual day that the chamber was incorporated because it's Juneteenth, which I think is June 19th.
It's now a national holiday.
Is now a national holiday. So on June 17th, we'll be having some sort of gala at Paint Creek Country Club. It will not be a sit-down formal. It'll be more like a reception. And we have an archival committee that's putting together, or that will be putting together, I should say, some different fun, like photos. And we have 4 huge boxes at the chamber of all archives, and it's really fun stuff. I mean, old newspaper articles. I know the Lake Orion Review also said that they would dig out some items, and we're really planning on celebrating it big. And with that, what I hope to be able to do is to celebrate also all those businesses that are going to be celebrating milestones this year, every 5 years. And we'll be putting together like a commemorative chamber directory and a commemorative official program to celebrate our 75th anniversary. I'm not 100% sure what all that looks like yet, but I have it in my mind, and I know it'll come to fruition.
That's awesome.
It'll be a nice legacy piece, right?
Yeah, and I'll have to start digging through my archives.
Absolutely.
I've documented about the last 30 years of Lake Orion history, so I'll dig through my archives and see what I can find.
That's wonderful.
That would be nice to put together a little retrospectives.
Exactly, and I imagine that it will be playing on the big screen, kind of looping around. And then we're actually at our celebration. We're going to do a throwback to the 50s, so we'll have little 50s hors d'oeuvres, 50s inspired cocktails.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's going to be
great.
fun.
So if you are a business owner and you want to join the chamber, go to the website, orionareachamber.com, and you'll have all that contact information there. And Joyce, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Is there a ribbon cutting this Thursday?
There is Cigar Bar in downtown.
Oh, in downtown. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, it's beautiful in there.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we'll be seeing you soon. And
Thank you.
We're going to take you now to a performance by the great and talented Bob Lowe, who records a musical program here in the studio. So take it away, Bob.
Engine, number 9, coming down that railroad line. How much farther back did she get off? Old brown suitcase that she carried, I look for it everywhere, just ain't here among the rest, and I'm a little upset, yes. Tell me, engine, number 9, coming down that railroad line. I know she got on in Baltimore. 110 miles ain't much distance, but it sure do make big difference, 'cause I don't think she loves me anymore. Of the dangers, don't speak to strangers. If by chance she finds a romance, warm her lips to kiss her, arms to hold her tighter, stirring new desires inside her. How I wish that it was me instead of he that stands beside her. Engine, number 9, coming down that railroad line. I know she got on in Baltimore. 110 miles ain't much distance, but it sure do make big difference, 'cause I don't think she loves me anymore. No, I don't think she loves me anymore.
So that's the talented Bob Lowe. He'll be performing during our food drive next week, so we're looking forward to seeing him. And we're going to leave you now. Just before we wrap up, Becky has put together a list of upcoming events for this week's Quick Hits.
Don't miss the Dogman Party this Friday at the Orion Library. There's a new Dogman movie releasing, so come and join the library to celebrate with crafts, activities, and snacks. The party begins at 2 o'clock. Please register at orionlibrary.org. Michigan in the Civil War traveling exhibit begins this Saturday at the Orion Library. This traveling exhibition from the Detroit Historical Society features 10 freestanding kiosks, each of which examines a different theme regarding Michigan's role in the war. The exhibit runs February 1st through April 30th. The Lake Orion Ice Fest will be happening this Saturday. Stroll through downtown Lake Orion to see the beautiful ice sculptures from clear-cut ice. Enjoy a live ice carving demonstration and warm up at the fire pit with s'mores. The event runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Wint Nature Center will be hosting an owl prowl this Saturday evening from 5 to 7. Uncover who's hooting it up at night in the woods. Learn about our nocturnal neighbors, dissect their diets, and discover their specialized adaptations. Register by calling 248-858-0916. The 2025 Madison Smile Scholarship Art Contest is now open. DeHaan Orthodontics is offering a $6,000 scholarship towards orthodontic work in honor of Madison Baldwin. For full scholarship details, visit DeHaanOrtho.com/Madison. ONTV's 15th annual food drive is just around the corner. The drive begins on February 3rd and runs through the 7th. The food drive benefits the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. Help us reach our goal of $8,000 by donating today at orionontv.org. Now let's take a look at this week's weather. Wednesday's forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies with a high of 35 and a low of 17. It's cloudy on Thursday with a high of 43 and a low of 31. Snow showers on Friday with a high of 36 and a low of 20. And it's mostly cloudy on Saturday with a high of 26 and a low of 16. And finally, cloudy skies on Sunday with a high of 26 and low of 17. That's it for this week's ONTV Quick Hit. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
All right, lots of exciting events happening in Lake Orion over the next couple of weeks, including our food drive next week. Tracy, you're going to be back to join us next week?
I will. Next Wednesday I'll be back.
All right,
So,
we're looking forward to it. And
Yeah.
we're going to wrap up this premiere episode of 2025. I'm Joe Johnson, Tracy Woodrum, and we will see you, I believe, in 2 weeks here on Orion Today. Good night.
Bye-bye.